is the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
You need to see this. It's something that'll change the world and human life as we know it.
He knows. He's seen the light.
When Monty talks, it's painful.
That's right.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Come here for a minute. I want to talk to you. Mama says you're brain dead. Bang your head against the wall. Can't find peace of mind. Brain needs an overhaul.
You like that, Butch?
I like it.
Bonehead, brain dead, we're all the same. You can't think straight when your heart is in pain. Turn around, hit the ground, time to lay a burden down.
The views expressed on this broadcast of the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show are those of the co-host and guest and do not necessarily reflect those of our affiliates. The topics and opinions on today's show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice. Take 12 Radio is not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. And now, here's your host,
the man, the myth, the legend,
the Monty'man.
I'm telling you the truth, man, I ain't gonna lie to you.
I wouldn't lie to you, baby. No, no, no.
Good guys, bad boys, we're all the same. Saved by grace is the name.
All right. Turn around, hit the ground. Time to lay a burden down. Welcome to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show, our 2019 Christmas radio broadcast. And in the studio with me right now is Denver Wolf.
Bah humbug.
The humbug of this guy is the humbug's humbug. I am telling you. Marv R.
Yep.
There he is. There's Denver and Marv right there. And Butch and Jenny, our good friends Butch and Jenny right there. Say hi, you guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And they're going to be sharing with us a little bit about what is this thing about staying sober during the holidays? I mean, if there's any time at all throughout the year, shouldn't this be the time that we have amnesty and we can drink and it won't go against our clean time? No? Okay.
No, we're not.
Not going to do that? All right. So they're going to be sharing some of their experience, strength, and hope today. And so we're just going to have a fun time today. But before we do anything fun, of course, we have to move into this direction.
All right, stop right there.
Okay.
Because it's time for the Monty'man's yearly Christmas wine.
That's
Or
right.
Like a whimper.
Are you ready for a diaper change and then the bottle?
Yes. Okay, it's time for the Monty'man to pull up his diaper. Before I do that, though, I must complain about something that I have absolutely no power over just because I can. Denver, take no offense to this, but this is my whine against a form of humbug, not your particular form. Okay.
It might be.
But no, this is somebody else. So I was posting something about, this time of year, if you're on social media at all, you post, little Christmas things and those stupid snowball fights that people send each other and they want you to send it to somebody else and, on and on it goes. Well, some lady, I won't mention her name, decided to lecture me on if I was a true Christian, I would not celebrate this pagan holiday. I would not put a tree in my house, and don't you know I should not worship trees? Didn't know that I did. That was interesting. And not only should I not, if I'm a true Christian, should I not celebrate this pagan holiday, but I shouldn't celebrate the pagan holiday of Easter either. Because it isn't about Christ's resurrection, it's about his death. That's what paid the price. His resurrection has nothing to do with it. And she just went on, and I mean, she was humbugging everything, every little thing. And she went on about St. Valentine's Day, and I mean, just tearing up all and kept referring to, if you were really a Christian, you wouldn't celebrate these things. And I'm thinking to myself, wow.
This was recently?
Yeah, this was recently. I was like, wow. I mean, is this really how you want to spend your time that you'll never get back? Is lecturing? So I made a couple little comments that were nice.
No,
they were nice. They weren't, But I got to tell you, I was typing and backspacing. I thought, no, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to be nice, right? Man, she just came back at me again. And so,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Okay, listen. Most people know that December 25th is not the actual birth date of Jesus Christ, okay? But for whatever reason, and we're going to share this a little bit, that's the date we've chosen to celebrate. It's kind of like Colin's birthday is in December, but we're going to celebrate it a couple of days before his birthday because that's when the family can get together. So we're celebrating it anyway. It doesn't mean that he wasn't born, right? So to that poor woman, we talk about this. People that get offended by things like that, they probably walk away offended all day long anyway. And I just felt sorry for her. So, too bad. That's too bad. But here's a little information that I thought was some fun facts. Check this out.
Decorating trees, exchanging gifts, and singing songs about Santa Claus. It's what most people think of when they think of Christmas. But for Christians, December 25th has a more important significance. The holiday honors the birth of Jesus Christ some 2,000 years ago. But we bet you didn't know that in the early years of Christianity, Christians didn't celebrate Christmas at all. In fact, there is no mention of December 25th in the Bible. Early Christians couldn't even agree on which date Jesus was actually born. It was only in the 3rd century that December 25th became the official celebration of the birth of Jesus, most likely because it coincided with already existing pagan festivals. By the end of the 8th century, Christmas was widely celebrated across Europe. But its pagan roots died hard, and for many centuries people marked the holiday with wild parties, similar to Mardi Gras celebrations. This would lead some religious purists, such as the Puritan settlers of colonial America, to oppose Christmas celebrations. In 1644, the Massachusetts legislature fined anyone who observed Christmas 5 shillings, which was a lot of money at the time. In fact, Christmas as we know it didn't really begin until the 1800s. That's when Germany's Prince Albert brought his country's longtime tradition of decorating evergreen trees to England after his marriage to Queen Victoria. When an image of the royal family next to their 40-foot Christmas tree was published in American magazines in 1848, the custom caught on in the United States as well. The tradition of sending Christmas cards also started in England around the same time. Giving gifts is a relatively old Christmas tradition, with roots going back many centuries. At first, gift-giving had religious significance, to remind people of the gifts brought to baby Jesus by the 3 kings. But the Industrial Revolution and the rise of advertising in the 19th and 20th centuries made Christmas the commercial holiday it is today, even as it continues to have religious meaning for Christians. Christmas has a long and colorful history. We bet you didn't know.
Bet you didn't know. There you go. There's some, there's some useful or useless.
There's some Christmas knowledge.
Yeah, there you go, Denver. Yeah, give us a good give us your best humbug.
Yeah. How about that?
All right, so the battery on this is, I'm not even going to put this on, but I just thought this was. That's enough of that. Okay.
Wow. Kind of gnomish.
A little gnomish.
No.
Oh, my gosh. It's amazing, though, these things that you pack away year after year. This thing is about 15 years old, and the battery in it still works. Now, I can't get a battery in any of my clocks to work that long. Well, I guess they're always ticking. This thing's awful. I don't know. Batteries die, though, in storage, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently not that one.
Apparently not that one. All right. So, what is it about? Speaking of this. Oh, what the heck? Does that work? No. Okay.
Well,
maybe. What is up with the Santa Claus thing? And so here's another whine I have. People that poo-poo Santa. Come on. Give me a break.
What do you mean poo-poo Santa?
They just, okay, we don't want to teach our kids that Santa's real because then they'll worship idols. And I'm like, ugh. So what we did in our family is our kids were smart enough to know that something's up because there's too many Santas at the mall, right? So we told them the story about, where that all came from and that these guys were just representing that. And of course, not any one of them was the guy, right? So I thought I'd throw this together for those of you because you may not have known this either. So check this out. Here we go. St. Nicholas was a Christian bishop who lived in the 4th century in a place called Myra in Asia Minor. It's now called Turkey. He was a very rich man because his parents died when he was young and left him a lot of money. He was also a very kind man and had a reputation for helping the poor and giving secret gifts to people who needed it, anonymously. There are several legends about St. Nicholas, and here's one that I'm sure you'll enjoy. This, however, rings true in the annals of history. There was a poor man who had 3 daughters. The man was so poor that he did not have enough money for a dowry, so his daughters couldn't get married. A dowry is a sum of money paid to the bridegroom by the bride's parents on the wedding day. This still happens in some countries, even today. Well, one night, Nicholas secretly dropped a bag of gold down the chimney and into the house. This meant that the oldest daughter was then able to be married. The bag fell into a stocking that had been hung there by the fire to dry. This was repeated later with the second daughter. Finally determined to discover the person who had given him the money, the father secretly hid by the fire every evening until he caught Nicholas dropping in a bag of gold. Nicholas begged the man to not tell anyone what he had done, because he did not want to bring attention to himself. But soon the news got out, and when anyone received the secret gift, it was thought that perhaps it was Nicholas. Well, because of his kindness, Nicholas was made a saint. Saint Nicholas is not only the saint of children, but also of sailors. Now, one legend tells of him helping some sailors that were caught in a dreadful storm off the coast of Turkey. The storm was raging around them, and all the men were terrified that their ship would sink beneath the giant waves. They prayed to St. Nicholas to help them. Suddenly, he was standing on the deck before them. He ordered the sea to be calm. The storm died away, and they were able to sail their ship safely to port. St. Nicholas was exiled from Myra. Why? Because of his Christian faith and his love for Jesus. And later he was put in prison during the persecution by the Emperor Diocletian. Well, no one knows exactly the date of his death, but his bones were stolen from Turkey by some Italian merchant sailors. The bones are now kept in the church named after him in the Italian port of Bari. On St. Nicholas' feast day, the 6th of December, the sailors of Bari still carry his statue from the cathedral out to the sea, so that he can bless the waters and so give them safe voyage throughout the year. Well, how did St. Nicholas become Santa Claus? Well, in the 16th century in Northern Europe, after the Reformation, the stories and traditions about St. Nicholas became unpopular. But someone had to deliver presents to children at Christmas, so in the UK, particularly in England, he became Father Christmas, or Old Man Christmas, an old character from stories during the Middle Ages in the UK and parts of Northern Europe. In France, he was known as Père Noël. Some countries, including parts of Australia and Germany, present giver became the Christkind, a golden-haired baby with wings who symbolizes the newborn baby Jesus Christ. In the early USA, his name was Kris Kringle, from the Christkind. Later, Dutch settlers in the USA took the old stories of St. Nicholas with them, and Kris Kringle and St. Nicholas became Sinterklaas, or as we now say, Santa Claus. Well, many countries, especially ones in Europe, celebrate St. Nicholas Day on the 6th of December. In the Netherlands and some other European countries, children leave clogs or shoes out on the 5th of December, St. Nicholas Eve, to be filled with presents. They also believe that if they leave some hay and carrots in their shoes for Sinterklaas's horse, they will be left some sweets. St. Nicholas became popular again in the Victorian era, when writers, poets, and artists rediscovered the old stories. In 1823, the famous poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, or 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, was published. Dr. Clement Clark Moore later claimed that he had written it for his children. Some scholars now believe that it was written actually by Henry Livingston, Jr., who was a distant relative of Dr. Moore's wife. The poem describes St. Nicholas with 8 reindeer and gives them their names. They became really well known in the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, written in 1949. Did you know that Rudolph and Santa's other reindeers might well all be girls? Only female reindeer kept their antlers throughout the winter. By Christmas time, most males have discarded their antlers and are saving their energy, ready to grow a new pair in the spring. The UK Father Christmas and the American Santa Claus became more and more alike over the years and are now one and the same. Some people say that Santa lives in the North Pole. In Finland, they say that he lives in the north part of their country called Lapland. But everyone agrees that he travels through the sky on a sleigh that is pulled by reindeer. And he comes into houses down the chimney at night and places presents for the children in socks or bags by their beds, in front of the family Christmas tree, or by the fireplace. Well, most children receive their presents on Christmas Eve night or early Christmas morning, but in some countries, they get their presents on St. Nicholas Eve, December 5th. St. Nicholas putting the bag of gold into a stocking is probably where the custom of having a tangerine at the bottom of your Christmas stocking came from. If people couldn't afford gold, some golden fruit was a good replacement. Well, what about Santa Claus and Coca-Cola? Well, there's a Christmas urban legend that says that Santa's red suit was designed by Coca-Cola. And by the way, that's definitely not true. Long before Coke had been invented, St. Nicholas had worn his bishop's red robes during Victorian times, and before that, he wore a range of colors, red, green, blue, and brown. But red was always his favorite. In January 1863, the magazine Harper's Weekly published the first illustration of St. Nicholas, St. Nick by Thomas Nast. In this, he was wearing a Stars and Stripes outfit. Over the next 20 years, Thomas Nast continued to draw Santa every Christmas, and his works were very popular indeed. Well, this is when Santa really started to develop his big tummy and the style of red and white outfit he wears today. Nast designed Santa's look on some historical information about Santa and the poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas. On January 1st, 1881, Harper's Weekly published Nast's most famous image of Santa, complete with a big red belly, an arm full of toys, and smoking a pipe. This image of Santa became very popular, with more artists drawing Santa in his red and white costume from 1900s to 1930. Santa was first used in Coke advertisements in 1920, with Santa looking like the drawings of Thomas Nast. In 1931, the classic Coke Santa was drawn by artist Hayden Sundblom. He took the idea of Nast Santa but made him even more larger than life and jolly, replaced the pipe with a glass of Coke, and created the famous Coke holding Santa. Coca-Cola also agree that the red suit was made popular by Thomas Nast, not them. Well, Coke has continued to use Santa in all their advertisements since 1930. In 1995, they also introduced the Coca-Cola Christmas truck in the Holidays Are Coming TV adverts. The red truck, covered with lights and with the classic Coke Santa on its sides, is now a famous part of recent Christmas history. Well, there you go. St. Nicholas, a Christian bishop, one who loved Christ and one who loved giving. I bet you didn't know.
No. You and Cecil were up way too late last night.
So in the spirit of all that, and for the heck of it, we're going to give something away right now. This is our first giveaway. So the very first email, now this show will be broadcasting all week long. So we're going to give several opportunities. So some people aren't going to listen to the show today. They're going to listen to the show midweek. So we're going to give them opportunities too. So the very first email, it'll be time-stamped, and here's the email address, take12radio@comcast.net. That's TAKE, the number 12, radio@comcast.net. So the very first email to wish everybody and all of our listeners a Merry Christmas. That's all you got to say, right? We're going to send you the Take 12 Radio Christmas Music CD, which includes the True Story of Santa, St. Nicholas, and some modern Christmas music, as well as some traditional stuff mixed in with some fun. And we're going to send you that CD. It's about an hour of nonstop goodies for you. You must include your mailing address in that email. So send us your email, the very first one to come in. We will send that out to you. And then we're going to be giving more of those away here as the show progresses. One more thing that I wanted us to listen to, and this is an organization we've had we've had some of the officers from this organization on this show in the past. It is an organization I believe in. They've been around for a very, very long time. And if you happen to be downtown, or especially at your post office, you'll see these men and women ringing the bell. And some of you want to avoid them. I don't know why. They're really nice people. They don't care if you put a penny in the bucket or not. They're always saying Merry Christmas. They're very polite. And they do this stuff totally volunteer. None of these people get paid for it. And they work endlessly and just hours and hours upon end to bring Christmas to the less fortunate all year round. So I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take our break and come back and play some Christmas trivia and give some more stuff away. And then we're going to hear from Butch and Genny on the topic of staying sober during the holidays. Not always an easy thing, right, you guys?
No.
Yeah, it can be challenging. And they're going to share a little bit of their story, too, as well. So check this out, and then we'll take our break.
The Salvation Army. What do you think when you hear the name? Red kettles? Donated clothes? Helping the homeless? These are all part of the Salvation Army, but they are only a fraction of what it does. As one of the oldest and largest charities in the world, many people are surprised to know that the Salvation Army is first and foremost a church. It was founded in London, England in 1865 by Christian evangelists William and Catherine Booth. The idea was simple: share the gospel of Jesus Christ by feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, and freeing people from addiction. 150 years later, the Booth's mission has spread across the planet. Today, the Salvation Army operates in more than 120 countries. And in the United States alone, the Salvation Army serves about 30 million people a year. Along with Christmas assistance, the Salvation Army is focused on providing hunger relief, housing, and educational services to kids. These and other services are available in Salvation Army Worship and Service Centers. These centers are usually located in poor and crime-ridden neighborhoods where few venture to serve. The Worship and Service Centers are led by Salvation Army officers, ordained ministers who have studied at least 2 years at Salvation Army Training School. It operates stores to help fund rehabilitation centers. These centers provide free, long-term treatment for people battling addiction. So, when you donate goods to the Salvation Army, your old stuff is being used to save lives. Of all the services offered, none of them can happen without the love and compassion of volunteers. Volunteers allow the Salvation Army to spend less on wages and more on serving people. There are about 3.4 million Salvation Army volunteers in the United States. Not surprisingly, the Salvation Army also needs cash donations to operate. In the U.S., more than $3 billion per year is raised. About $140 million of this comes from kettle donations in the 6 weeks before Christmas. America's favorite charity shares the gospel of Jesus Christ, offering its services to millions without discrimination. In the words of William Booth, the Salvation Army stands for hope, that when every other light is extinguished and every other star has gone down, this one gleams shines steadily and clearly out in the darkened sky. If only I could get to the Salvation Army, they will do something for me. The Salvation Army, doing the most good.
All right, we'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
Hey, check it out. The best in recovery talk and positive music radio is now available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and Podomatic. Simply visit any of these platforms and search for Take 12 Recovery Radio. Listen and download hundreds of our shows for fun and for free. Also available at take12radio.com.
Please, Daddy, don't get drunk this Christmas. I don't want to see my mama cry. Just last year when I was only 7, now I'm almost 8, as you can see. You came home a 11:15 and fell down underneath our Christmas tree. Please.
This is Mr. John Denver with iconic song, Please Daddy Don't Get Drunk This Christmas. Good advice. Maybe not as easy as said, however. A lot of people experiencing the opposite of sobriety during the holidays. And Butch and Genny are going to share with us here in a minute. But first, we're going to play a little Christmas trivia. You guys ready to try this out? What do you think? Huh? Going to test your Christmas knowledge? A little bit? Okay. So we'll give Genny the first crack at answering this first one, all right? But we got to do a little intro to this, don't we? Little trivia intro. Ready? Go. Go. There we go.
And
now.
It's the quiz of the week.
Smile, Denver.
That's right, everybody. It's time for Take 12 Radio's Quiz of the Week. Sponsored by that recovery magazine, the 12-Step Gazette. Visit their website at 12stepgazette.com.
All right.
Now, here's the Monty'man.
All righty. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask 4 of these questions, and we're going to give you all a chance to answer. And then the 5th one goes to the listeners. We're not going to give you the answer to that one until we announce the winner next week. So or on our next show, rather. So question number 1 goes to Jenny. Okay. How many ghosts show up in the Charles Dickens A Christmas Carol?
Wow.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
Not. I don't know that I've seen that movie.
That's Ebenezer Scrooge and Bob Marley. Bob Marley?
Wait a minute, no.
No, that's the
you got something mixed up here, dude. Yeah,
You've been in there too long.
That's
yeah, I have no idea.
something Marley.
Marley.
Yeah.
Is it 3?
Is it 3? Well, if you get it right, we're going to give you some bells. If you get it wrong, we're going to give you this. All right, so you're going to go with 3? Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right, sorry. It's actually 4.
I was close.
It's actually 4.
Right?
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
good. You count.
Yeah, not too bad. All right, okay. All right, Butch, this one's for you. The movie Miracle on 34th Street is based on a real-life department store. What is it?
Oh, I could get this one.
Excellent.
Just take a stab at it.
It is definitely not Montgomery Ward.
No, but
No.
you're kind of close. Is he kind of close there, Jenny?
Sort
a
of,
little bit?
yeah.
Yeah. Think of another one around.
I know, big name.
Yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
We've been there.
You want a
know.
clue? I'll give you a clue. Thanksgiving Day Parade.
We've been there. Not to the parade, but to the store.
Yeah, I know what it is, but it's not on my tongue.
All right, Jenny, tell them what it is.
Macy's, right?
It is Macy's, yes. Yeah, Macy's. All right.
Oh, boy.
I remember them
It's
running
coming our
through
way,
the
Marv.
departments.
Right? Okay, Marv. This one's for you.
All righty.
In the movie It's a Wonderful Life, what happened every time a bell rang?
I know this one too.
It had something to do with angels.
Okay.
I think. Angel got his wings.
Yes, there you go. An angel got his wings. Yep.
Neener, neener, neener.
Well, let's see here. Any of you guys? No wings on you guys.
More wings.
All right, Denver. This one's for you, buddy.
Oh boy, I've been anxious.
In the classic, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Grinch was described with 3 words. What are they?
Mean, despicable.
Oh. This is kind of a tough one.
Mean, despicable. And I listen to a lot of Christmas music. I'm blessed by, I guess. And they were singing it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Do you guys know? You guys want to take a stab at it?
Mean, despicable something.
It seems like one was unlovable or something to that effect, but I couldn't tell you. None of them.
Okay. Here they are. Stink, stink, stunk.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those are the 3 words that describe the Grinch.
I'll be listening the rest of the year for that.
All right. So, okay. So this is the trivia question for our listeners. The first, not the first person. Let's make it the 5th email this time. The 5th email to send in the answer, the correct answer. Okay. So if you send in the wrong answer, then it's going to be the next email after that, and the next email after that if you keep sending in the wrong answer. So starting with email number 5, which popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch? Nobody here answer that. Nobody in the studio answer that. Just the listeners.
That's good. I don't know.
So I don't care if you Google it. I don't care if you know it. Whatever. Just send us an email. What is the popular Christmas beverage that is called milk punch? And we will send you out the Take 12 Recovery Radio Christmas CD as well. So starting with email number 5. And then later on in the show, at some point, the Angel's Got His Wings bell will ring. and we'll give another CD away. Sound good? Sounds good to me. That does it for Take 12 Trivia. Got you thinking now, huh, Marv? I wonder.
Hey, Monty.
Yeah.
Did anybody answer the question from the last program?
Oh, yes. Yes, they did. Where did I put... Okay, so yeah, the winner, and I don't have their name down. I do have it down, but I just don't know where I put it. There was a winner, though.
Okay,
yes.
I was just wondering.
And the trivia question, what did Marv say you cannot legislate? What did you say you cannot legislate? And that was what, Marv?
Morality.
Morality.
Yeah.
You cannot legislate morality. Yeah, and we did have a winner for that.
All right.
And they received a music CD from Take 12 Radio as well. I'll announce who that was on our next show. Sorry, I just totally slipped my mind. All right, so the topic. Wow, holidays. Staying sober through the holidays. Not only staying sober physically, but what about sober-minded? Putting up with, talk about fake it till you make it is never more real than when you're hanging with the in-laws that you don't get along with. That happens in a lot of families from Thanksgiving through Christmas. But there's a lot of stuff going on the holidays. And let's just scratch the surface. Spend just a few seconds. You weren't always doing as well as you're doing today, right, Butch? I mean, you kind of had a mess going on.
A little mess.
Yeah.
I had it all under control.
Yeah?
No.
So what was going on, man?
Yeah, so I definitely lived a life of addiction, criminality, me, more me.
Yeah.
And I was pretty lost in ego and pride. Ran a hard, solid muck that drove everything around me to like you said, stink and stunk and stank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. 6 years ago. Definitely would not have recognized me as the same person I am today. That's for sure. Yeah.
You've undergone a bunch of surgeries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 7 years ago,
right?
I ripped my main aorta from head to toe. Now replaced by 9 titanium stents, one going up into my brain. They replaced that blood vessel, and I still didn't quit. I didn't even leave the hospital, and I was calling my people and saying, "Come bring me my stuff." I led right back out into addiction, and quite a while later, I finally got a pretty solid kick in the, and learned, there was something that I was losing. It was my family.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard, and I decided I didn't want to keep watching them drift farther and farther away by my actions. So,
yeah,
time to get something going.
Right.
Recovery.
Right.
Yep.
So, Jenny, how long have you guys been married?
31 years.
31 years.
Yeah.
So, part of this stuff has gone on since you guys been together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
So, what do you attribute to you guys sticking it out?
I don't know. I guess we just never gave up on each other.
Yeah.
I just always wanted the man that I married back, and I guess I just was waiting for that to happen, and pretty oblivious to the whole drug stuff. I was pretty naive to that and was in a lot of denial about how bad it was. And so I just always knew that he would come back.
So deep down inside, there was this good guy.
Yeah.
That just was covered up by life, that before the addiction stuff happened, that drove me to. And from childhood, before I even hit middle school, I was already stepping into addiction. So it was in there. And
how'd that start?
Boy, I'd say it's probably peer pressure, hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Right.
Even way back then, just living out on the road. My dad committed suicide when I was 13.
Wow.
So he didn't do it, but there was surely an open door when he wasn't around, and so I was angry. I drove hard out onto the road, and I was in prison by the time I was 17. So it was poured out way before. Yeah, hard.
Jenny, how much about Butch did you actually know before you got married?
Not a whole lot. We met and we got married 6 months later, so there was a lot I didn't know about him.
Right.
Like, I didn't know that he did drugs at all. When we got married, then our wedding night, I found pot in his pocket. He told me it was his friend. His friend gave it to him, and of course I believed him. And
At least you didn't go with the oregano thing, you know.
I did Tratex before that.
Yeah.
That was my lie. Every time I came in smelling bad.
yeah, I was pretty sheltered as a child, so I wasn't around it, so I had no clue.
Right. Wow. So when you found out that how things were evolving with him,
I think I always thought that he would change for me and that it would get better. And then, I don't know, when he was out there gone all the time, I never thought that it was about the drugs. Stupidly, I thought it was about me. I thought that he just didn't love me enough, and if I was better, he would love me more. And I don't know.
wow. So you sound like the co-author to Codependent No More, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the codependent love song right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'll just love him into it.
Right.
You know, and he'll prove his love for me. He'll just stop, that kind of thing.
Right. And it didn't work that way.
It didn't work that way. Let's go over to Marv for a minute. Marv, you lost a wife.
Yes.
In your recovery.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Was it around the holidays or?
It was in November.
Okay, so pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been how many years now?
3.
3 years. How are the holidays for you?
Well,
related to that, I mean, is it tough?
No, I think I've pretty well accepted the situation, and I get through. I get by.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure you guys will agree with me. It's a matter of the realization that God's in control, and I don't have that control.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to let Him take care of it. And in a big way, that's made a lot of difference.
Sure.
In my life.
Sure. So, Butch and Jenny, so what are some of the things that you guys do to maintain a healthy recovery? I mean, talk to us about your ministry work in the recovery field. We know that's one of the things that you do, but what are some of the things you do? But start with that one.
Yeah, so I'm a ministry leader of Celebrate Recovery. I'm a testimony alumni for Serenity Lane. I go down there every month and a half and do a testimony to the in-house program. Involved with Teen Challenge. A member of AA. I don't go to NA. That's just my personal preference. It's a place that leads to more triggers for me than it does sobriety.
It's not a good fit for you.
Not for me.
Okay.
I see a lot of the old in me that it can easily, I can turn it into glorifying the old behavior and actually start liking it. Mm-hmm. My criminal behavior, my gruntness and abruptness, and it's just not, it's like hanging out on the railroad tracks. I just don't hang out on the railroad tracks. It's not a safe place for me.
Yeah.
It's not good. So that's one I avoid. I do mission trips. I'm devoted and really involved in my church. That helps a lot. Like this morning, I went to a men's breakfast, and that's an every Monday deal. So there starts me off on a little bit of prayer and gives me some good fellowship. Keeps me involved with good people. In saying that, I have to draw lines in the ministry itself of who do I hang out with outside of the meeting. I can't save people, and I can't be there hanging out in a drug dealer's house or down at the bar, while a guy's sipping a beer. There's no good there for me. So I really got to continue to put a line in front of that and walk somewhere that is safe and healthy and wholesome.
Yeah.
It's a continuous battle, to try to help but not be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jenny, what about you? So you guys are kind of partners in this Celebrate Recovery thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to just stay connected with your recovery and stay connected with people that you feel comfortable with and that are sober. You know, it's very important to stay with the friends that you know that will keep you in line and keep you, you know, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but
accountable.
In check. Accountable.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the word. Yeah. Keep
yeah.
you accountable. You know, it's important to just stay connected and don't lose that during the holidays. It's easy because you have like all these other functions going on and you have parties and stuff you go to and like people there maybe aren't in recovery. And so you just there's a fine line. You have to stay away from certain people.
Jenny, can you get too busy though?
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get too busy. You could get frustrated and just like want to shut down.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you guys, a big piece of maintaining healthy recovery for you is service work, is being of service to other people. Does that help you stay out of your own head, Butch?
Oh, it does a lot.
Yeah.
My head's a mess. It's a squirrel cage. It is. I describe it as hurricane winds inside of a coffee can.
Oh, wow.
It just is going constantly and it's beating each, so it's another piece that I'm really working on this year. This year, 5th year, 5+ years into sobriety, I'm on my control and what goes on in my head is my next step to work on. Still working steps around things that control issues, ego and pride, and this one is a big one, staying out of my head, focusing. So asking other people, calling my sponsor.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever find that your work within the 12-step community, Celebrate Recovery, other 12-step programs, etc., that it gets exhausting to the point where you just get tired of the same old thing over and over again? The people coming in, the people coming out, the same people going out every time they come in, that kind of thing. I mean, that's got to wear on you because you guys have been doing this for a long time, right? Is it ever, especially during the holidays, we see a lot of train wrecks. Does it ever get discouraging? Jenny, I'll ask you.
Yeah, sometimes it does, I think, but you have to remember that to just stay focused on yourself sometimes, you know? You can't just be all about them because their recovery is their recovery, and you can't just focus on that all the time. And it's hard sometimes when you just want to fix someone, but they're not fixable at this point, and it's not their time maybe. And, yeah, it does get frustrating, but you just got to move forward and, help that next person if you can.
What about you, Butch?
So our program, Celebrate Recovery, is Hurts, Habits, and Hang-Ups.
Right.
One of my big habits today, or in the last years, has been that I will put in a lot of time with people and not focus on my wife and my life. I will go in all day and be overwhelmed. I'll be answering calls throughout the night. Something I'm working on this year, again. There's some stuff for me to set down. This year, I'm going to take a break after 5 years of running step classes. God runs it in my mind. But
you facilitate the step
leader.
Classes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a group of guys, and they sit in a room, and we go through steps, 1 through 12, 24 different individual lessons in those 12 steps, and break it down. Same stuff, denial, powerless, all the way through, amends. But there's a point where, even though I'm learning every year, I'm in it nonstop. I haven't taken a break in 5 years. So this year, I'm taking a break.
Good for you.
Out of that step class. I'll still be a facilitator, the leader of the ministry leader. Let's say that God's
ministry
the leader,
right?
The facilitator of the program. But this year, it's not my place. I'm gonna step back and let somebody else run it. Yeah. And then about Recovery in the Park.
Sure,
that's a big event. This year, I'm going to step back a little bit farther than I have last year.
Yeah.
So it's time to kind of manage my time, and you can get so overwhelmed and so what's the word where you just don't stop?
Addicted.
Yeah. What is that? Is that addicted? Yeah, it is. Addicted to putting my hands in all the time.
Right.
And I think for you, a lot of it is the control you need to let go of. It's hard for you.
Don't listen to her.
Yeah. Well, she can call you out on that
She's the one.
because as a codependent, and by the way, listeners, we pretty much have come to the conclusion over the years that not all codependents are addicts or alcoholics, but all addicts and alcoholics are pretty codependent, right? But she could have wrote the book on codependency, so when she sees it in you and calls you out, she's probably right. Right, Butch?
She is. I'm sitting on my hands, Monty. That's what I do. I've been taught by one of my counselors to sit on my hands. It makes me quieter, and I can listen because I talk with my hands. So, yeah, she is an ace. I lean on her through these times to know what I can and can't do a lot.
Yeah.
More than what I think I can and can't do. I need help.
Sure.
And that's just the deal. I'll need help forever, and if I don't take it, then I'm in this squirrel cage by myself, and that's like a dark room with the lights out. Not good.
So let's talk about family and the holidays and sobriety. It has been said that there isn't anybody out there that'll push you over the edge to take that first drink than that good unhealthy in-law, or maybe that significant other, or that friend of the family, that Uncle Joe or whatever. You guys have any folks like that in your life that you have to kind of hold each other to a higher standard as far as your accountability goes when they're around during the holidays?
Anger is one of the biggest pieces in recovery that we can fall to. Resentment and blame, but anger is something that is reactive instead of being proactive to a situation. And when you're reacting, you can fall into what's the easy way. What's the easy move to get out of it?
Yeah.
How do we flow from there? And that's something that I work on, and I need help. I can get angry about money, about other people's opinions or their actions, and boy, you can get in there, and I can start building up and building up and building up, and before I know it, I'm already headed towards relapse.
Is it easier or harder to deal with your anger issues as somebody in recovery when it comes to family around the holidays than it is other people in the program, so to speak? Is it harder for you to deal with family, or?
I would say it's probably pretty even lately, but definitely in the past, family has been the trigger for me. My daughter, I love her. She is so much like me that I hate her because she can be just like me, and she knows it all. And I've told her many times, I'm just better at convincing you that I know more than you. Other than that, we'd battle forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's an ace. She's changed a lot herself.
Yeah.
So this year's been good. So that might be a lightened piece too, that she's changing so much that we're starting to go the right way separately together.
What about you, Jenny? Is it easier to deal with family or people in the program?
I think it's pretty even for me. I mean,
is it?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that it's any harder with the family.
So talk about the importance of doing more than just meeting attendance.
Yeah.
Particularly this time of year.
Yeah. I've always asked Jenny to keep me on a leash, is the way I described it. Like going to old neighborhoods. I would love to. A buddy hit me up a while back, and he's homeless, and I've known him since we were kids. Well, there's some triggers to her of me using with him and not being home, but being in his house. And because he's homeless, I want to get him in the program. I want to fix him. I want to show him light. And I brought him to church. That was great. But after church, I'm going home, and he has to go somewhere else. So that's a piece that, my walk on the everyday battle, my spiritual, fulfillment. If I'm not spiritually full, then I'm losing ground. We've noticed it lately. We've been hit by finances and job change and the schedule, and so I have to pick up different meetings, or I have to make the effort to go to the meeting whether I have the time or not. but not just a meeting. It's like a fellowship. People that are good and wholesome. It's hard. It's the meeting will only get me to the door. You know, it will only get me to the thought of what's going on in life.
Right, right. So you have people in your life, and Jenny, you do too, right? That have permission to yank on your chain anytime they want. If they think you're going off the rails a little too much or whatever. Can that be uncomfortable though when somebody calls you out?
I think it depends on who they are. Like if you're very comfortable with them and you know that they know you so well and that they know what you're doing wrong and you just have confidence in them and you look up to them, then sometimes it's not so bad because you feel like they're right, you know. But sometimes even when they are right, you kind of have a resentment towards that because like, whatever, I don't want to listen to you, you know. It just depends on the situation, I guess.
Sure.
Like him, he can't tell me I'm wrong because that makes me resentful.
I don't. I stay out of that.
But I think
today.
that also has to do with the controlling thing that he works with. Like I've lived a long time with him being controlling and stuff, and so I kind of have learned to.
I built the codependency in her over years.
That's an interesting statement. I built the codependency in her.
See, he's controlling everything now.
By saying that, I'm trying to control her codependency.
Yeah.
So this year it has been so hard to stay in my place.
Right.
To not tell her, Jenny, you're worthy. You can ask for a raise. You can go do this deal. You don't need to take that. I need to keep my mouth shut and let Jenny do Jenny. Let God do his work with her and stay out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. Because I'm the one so close to her and it hurts emotionally not to help her. But it's her growth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's time to give CD away.
Nice.
Yeah. Like the bell? Like that, Marv? Huh?
Not
Smile?
really.
No, you don't like it.
Another angel, Marv.
Really.
Marv doesn't like it. Okay. This time we're gonna get not only the Take 12 Radio Christmas CD away, but also we're gonna give away Walking Through the Big Book. It's an audio DVD with 34 one-hour workshops that is facilitated by myself and Mr. Chris S. And we're going to give that away with the CD. Okay, that will be to the 10th email. The 10th email, Take 12 Radio, TAKE, the number 12 radio, at Comcast.net. So email number 10. And you have to say Merry Christmas. Give me your address, your mailing address, and we'll announce all these winners on our next show. And if you do win, however, we will definitely, I need to turn my mic back to where it was. All right. We definitely will. You'll know right away if you're one of the winners during this week before our next show. So there you go. What do you think about all this stuff, you guys? I mean, Marv, you were married in the program in your 12-step fellowship. Your wife passed away. You are now the bachelor, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you and your truck.
Yep.
Yeah.
My horse.
And your horse. Yeah. Yeah. So, Denver, and you're single, right? This is not your favorite time of year. We've talked about that before. So, Marv, you first. What are some of the good points of this time of year for you? Okay, there's none. Okay, Denver.
January.
No, go ahead, Marv.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of blessings.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful.
So gratitude's a biggie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to just kind of all of a sudden come up with all this stuff.
Sure. We'll just pick
I need
one
to think about. So, you know, I'm just grateful.
Grateful. Yeah.
God's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Yeah. Denver, what about you, man? Is there something during this time of year that you are grateful for?
Yeah, I've lost a couple family members in December, and everything changed the dynamics of the family. When that happened. As far as thankful goes, I have some wonderful things that happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is a difficult time of season for me. The weather change. You know, you wake up, it's foggy, cold, dark, and
right.
You get out here and the crowds are crazy. People running red lights to get to Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So it just everything gets busy in December, and I appreciate the hurricane in a can. That's my brain quite often.
Is it?
So yeah, I'm happy to get through the holiday and start, heading towards summer again.
Sure.
I like my short pants.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a fantabulous year. There has been some phenomenal things happen in my life. So I'm grateful for that.
Good deal. Good deal. So what are your plans? What are you guys' plans going forward into 2020? Anything new for Butch and Genny? Not going to the Bahamas for a vacation
No, I don't know.
Which is you're gonna pull back a little bit
financially. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Financially, we've gotten hit. Just really this year has been our struggle.
Right.
Life's going to continue, and there's going to be a new piece that is around the recovery that can rock your world.
Yeah.
And financially, that was it. Her job, she worked for 18 years and just lost Mega Foods, shut down in Lebanon. And that changed everything. So from there to a minimum wage, Winco, good place if you're there for 20 years, she'd be a millionaire. So she would have been to that level. So what does that look like? How's the struggle? How much pain is her body in making that transformation from a better position to a harder position? There's so much that's just this year is going to be finding each other and getting really back into the Word, I think.
Yeah.
For us, that's what we're missing this year. How do we work that around a schedule? We're just not together in a quality time. She works 2 to 11, something like that. Getting home at midnight, tired, getting up at 8, 9. The dogs were boom, boom, boom. The day's over for her, and she's off to work again.
So you guys recognize that there's a need there to kind of regroup and readjust. And so do you have a plan going forward in doing that, Jenny?
I've been thinking about taking some online classes, and hopefully maybe I'll do that and try to find a different position or something. I don't know. I think something needs to change with my job.
Sure.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
I worked 6 to 3 for 20 years, and now I'm working 3 to 11. That's kind of a difficult transition when you're used to a certain time of day. And I feel like I miss a lot in the evenings. I miss Celebrate Recovery a lot because I'm working, and I work on Sundays. And so I would really like to find something that's like Monday through Friday and not the difficult hours. And
yeah,
I just need to put myself forward and make that change, I think.
Sure.
That's the hard part for me, is stepping out of myself and doing it.
Yeah.
But
you guys will do it. You guys will do it. So, I know there's people who are listening that they're going through these changes too. They got to regroup. In 2020, we always have this New Year's resolution thing that people say they're going to do and don't do and blah, 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 right? But it's okay to have a starting point to start fresh.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. So that's people without a vision perish, the Bible says, right? If you don't have a plan, you're probably not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have a dry erase board or a chalkboard at home that we bought at Hobby Lobby. It's real cheap, easy deal. We used to write scripture on it. I really have been thinking, and I'm going to pull it up, and we're going to start putting down some times, and we're going to start really setting time to be not if we can make it, these are the deals, and start putting in some time, some quality time together. And a date night, it needs to happen.
That's important.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important.
And it needs to be something I pick up the pieces and put together the puzzle. Without being able to see, it's hard for me. No excuses. That's the deal in my life. That's what I see today. I can't see as an excuse. I have to find a way around it.
Yeah.
So it's time to get busy. And if we wait, we're sitting in complacency.
Yeah.
Complacency was easy when we thought we had money and the new home was cool and the new car. And then, we can't be complacent to we don't know where to go from here. We have to be on track and start picking up some pieces and stamping on them. I love God. Marv says it, and I will never forget it. I've picked it up in meetings. God doesn't make garbage. I picked it up from him in meetings, and I love to stamp that, to really just put a belief in that and find what he wants for us to do. He is my higher power. Jesus Christ is my higher power.
So that sounds like a really, really good launching point as a suggestion to our listeners from you, right? God doesn't make garbage.
Does not.
No matter how you feel. And Marv talks about how you feel a lot, right, Marv? Yeah. We can't base things on our feelings. So regardless of how you feel, the truth of the matter is God doesn't make garbage. People need to understand that going into the new year.
Yeah.
Right?
Depression is a disease. And it's inside of a person, you know, and you got to understand that you are worthy. So the Bible will tell you, we just got to hear it, and we got to believe it. And he does not. I love it, Marv. I really, really love it. I've said it to many people, and they've heard it and took it with them. So we get to take that piece, and if we can give it out, somebody else believe it. Because
Nice.
It's you.
Nice. Jenny, what would you like to say to the listeners as we close out today?
I agree
Moving
with
forward.
that.
Yeah.
God loves us all, and he just wants us to be happy, I think. And I think that if we just turn to him, which I haven't been doing lately, I don't think. I need to do that, take my own advice, turn to God, and just move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
God loves us.
If anybody out there is listening today and you can identify and you'd like to share your story with us or a prayer request, please email us at take12radio@comcast.net. One more time. One more CD we're giving out. So this will be the 20th email. Take12radio@comcast.net. Say Merry Christmas. Give us your address. We'll send you the Take 12 Radio Christmas CD, which has got a ton of stuff on it that you're going to appreciate. Thanks, you guys, for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you all.
Marvin Denver.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll be back next time, right?
January.
Yeah, January.
January.
Yeah. Next week's show will be entitled "To Overcome" with CDAC Level 2, Mr. Dave Fleming. And we'll be talking about stuff going on in the holidays as well. Some suggestions to keeping your head up and moving forward, putting one foot in front of the other, doing the next right thing. All right, so our closing song, actually, it's several songs. It's a medley by Blake and Jenna W. And I just want to thank, I'm going to zip the camera back over here again. You guys can wave. Wave, say there's Jenny and Butch. Thank you guys so much for coming in and sharing some of your experience, strength, and hope on this, our Christmas special for 2019. So here is Blake and Jenna W. You can visit their website at blakeandjenna.com with their medley of Christmas songs. I hope you enjoy this.
Angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled.
Blake and Jenna Bullerjack. For more of their great, encouraging, and positive music, visit their website at blakeandjenna.com. And may I take an opportunity once more to thank each and every one of you, our listeners, for tuning into our shows for almost 16 years now. The original recovery talk and positive music radio station, Take 12 Recovery Radio. And to all of our sponsors and supporters, God bless you for everything that you've done for us over the years. May you have an incredible holiday season. And a special thank you to all of our co-hosts, all of our guests. The amount of encouragement, strength, and hope that you have shared over the airways over the years has been a major positive influence in so many people's lives who need hope in recovery. To all of you, thank you, and God bless you. Until our next broadcast, this is the Monty'man, along with the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
This has been a broadcast of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
She's a super cat, she's super kitty, meow.
Yeah, kitty, 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 meow.